This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hey everybody, it is the After Party live on this Waterfall Wednesday. Hope you enjoyed the Mark Thompson show featuring Michael Schur today. I love seeing how he interacted with John Rothman and Belinda Weymouth as well. I thought it was really great. Tomorrow, David Cass will be on the show, the former federal prosecutor and now defense attorney in Southern California, and Michael Schur will interview him as well. So looking forward to that one. We might have some other surprise guests on the show tomorrow, so looking forward to that. Also tomorrow, the Nikki Maduro show. Thursday is 5 p.m. Mocktails, cocktails, and politics. So that's something to put on your radar as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. Totally free. We do have a PayPal account. The show is crowdfunded. And I would like to thank James S. and Wes and Deidre and Susan for contributing to the show today, or at least the contributions came in sometime during the overnight and today. So huge thank you. The show definitely in need of that. So very appreciated. Dan, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you too. Good afternoon, I should say now, right? It's after 1 o'clock Pacific time here. I have a story that I just found that I have to share with you because I just think it's so funny. In the city of Bend, Oregon. Sorry, let me get Dan's off the screen. In the city of Bend, Oregon, there's someone who thinks they're a real comedian. And they're putting these googly-eyed stickers all over public art sculptures. Here's a picture. You can see there the googly eyes on the sculptures around town. The city of Bend, Oregon says, stop with the googly eyes already. The city officials there in Bend are asking people to please stop putting these googly eyes on the sculptures. They say, don't do it. That it's costing them a lot of money to go around and take these things off. You wouldn't think it would cost very much money just to pluck some stickers off a statue, but they say, while the googly eyes placed on the various art pieces around town might give you a chuckle, it costs money to remove them with care not to damage the art. While we don't condone the wreaths, leis, and Santa hats, let's stay away from adhesives, graffiti, and things that can damage art. Well, people in Bend, Oregon are not happy about this. The city officials say the steel that the sculptures are made of can lose rust patches from adhesives and need chemical treatment to rust evenly then. That the stainless steel requires strong solvents to remove adhesive residue. And they say so far, the city of Bend, Oregon has spent more than $1,500 removing these googly eyes from all the sculpture in town. So they say, while people might enjoy them, it can cause unintended damage. And again, the people of Bend, Oregon are not going down quietly. They say, let us have some fun. Another person said, these googly eyes give me the hope to move forward each day. Nah, the googly eyes have to stay. Read the room, said someone. Googly eyes keep my mental health in a good place. Long live the googly eyes. Let us have some fun. People mocking the city, saying it's addressing googly eyes instead of other community problems that they think are probably more pressing than the googly eyes on the statues. But people love these googly eyes. I don't know if it's going to stop. I don't think the intent was to damage the public art, just kind of to give a laugh and a lift. But there they are, the googly eyes in all their glory. That's our animal segment for today. We'll move forward to the Bentley. This is the Bentley Flying Super Hybrid. I don't know, they're hybridizing one of their vehicles called the Flying Spur. So it's the Bentley Flying Spur. In addition to hybridizing this vehicle, Bentley is also boosts the range of it to 515 miles. They say it's got higher performance, it's got lower emissions, an unusually good energy regeneration system. I don't know if I like the orange, the caution orange there. Earlier this year, Bentley stopped making the W12. That had been the vehicle that carried their luxury vehicle brand since 2003. And in they have ushered the V8 hybrid, the new Continental GT, and now comes the second model in this combination. It's the 2025 Flying Spur. And Bentley says it has the same turbocharged 4-liter twin turbo V8 engine, 592 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. They developed it in conjunction with Porsche. They paired it with this powerful electric motor, 25.9 kilowatt per hour battery. So they say the Flying Spur is the most powerful sedan that's ever been built. It was put together at the so-called Dream Factory in the UK. They have a new design center there, a paint shop, a battery electric vehicle assembly line, and they call it a vehicle streamlined for sustainability, reducing carbon emissions, saving water, lowering the temperature in the paint shop to conserve energy. And they say that this super luxury car looks almost identical to the previous model, but it actually has engineering and technological secret weapons to set it apart. It can go from 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds, which is, they say, outrageous in the best way. It's half a second faster than the previous gas-only Flying Spur. Also, it has new electrical architecture, an advanced suspension system, an impressive battery regeneration as well. Uh, During a 300-mile scenic test drive from Phoenix to Sedona, it was noticed the battery could gain double-digit miles of all-electric range on descent. When you first apply the brakes, watch the gauge, they say, to see how the car can slow itself down by just using the motor in reverse to charge the battery. You don't even have to plug it in. They say it's a very powerful system. So, interesting. It's got a lot on board, this Bentley. I have a couple other pictures of it. They took all the pictures in Arizona, so you can see the cacti in the background. And here's a shot of the blue color. Blue and orange. I have a feeling the cars of the future are going to be very brightly colored. There you go. They're saying goodbye, sayonara, see you later to this guy. This is Moxie. And a lot of people bought Moxie for their kids, thinking this was going to be like a little friend, right? Little robot friend. And Moxie was, to many kids, a little buddy. He's an AI-powered friend, Moxie, about the size of a dog, a companion bot. It used GPT-style large language model. And of course, you see the screen there with these expressive features. Moxie had extended conversations with kids, but apparently, despite people buying Moxie, the creators have had some financial trouble and they have to take Moxie offline. Moxie is about to croak and kids are really upset. All the kids that have a Moxie. Moxie costs about $800 and has been on the market for 4 years. Some people are not happy. They're demanding refunds. There's videos all over the place of confused children who are crying, saying goodbye to Moxie on social media. But it has to be done. They have to cut off the software support for hardware to cut costs. So that's it. Moxie's gone. The company name is Embodied. They had intended this robot for use of children between about 5 and 10 years old. It's got this human animated like face that can display human-like emotions. It plays games with you, like Simon Says. It tells some jokes, but it also engages in these long, meaningful conversations with kids. It uses speech recognition to listen to the child speaking to it. It uses face recognition to analyze the speaker's emotions and a large language model to carry out the conversations. So a lot of people were relying on this because their kids maybe needed a little extra speech time, little buddy. They spent the $800 and now look what happened. But here's some video of Moxie.
We're going to learn about daily affirmations.
Amazing.
I think that this is, the most advanced kind of, technology there is.
Wow, it feels good to be out of that box. Missions are super important to me for learning to be a good friend. Grab the special sheet of paper and something to draw with.
When he gets frustrated, he'll pull out some of those positive affirmations.
A daily affirmation is a nice thing you say about yourself every day. One brain twister coming right up. Now pick up your good list and say, I like myself and I deserve good friends.
I like myself and I deserve good friends.
Doing affirmations can make you feel good about yourself. All systems A-OK and ready for the day.
We have taught her about coping skills, but it was just that little friend of hers telling her,
I have the power to make a difference in the world.
Moxie.
That was fun.
So you look at the video of Moxie and you think, hey, Moxie was pretty cool, right? Like, what happened to Moxie? I guess not enough people bought Moxie. And so Moxie's a goner. And kids are now posting these videos. I love you. Goodbye. That's it. Yeah. When they turn you off, asked one little kid, should I just keep you on my shelf? I think it would be nice to keep me on your shelf. That way I'll always be close by, said Moxie, and we can keep chatting and have fun together. After a pause, Moxie's owner tells the robot, I love you. I love you too, Moxie says. Your kinship and friendship mean a lot to me. I'm grateful for all the fun chats we've had. Is there a special moment or memory you'd like to share with me before we say goodbye? People are posting these videos online. This sucks. This is the worst. They're trying, the folks that Embodied, to keep Moxie operational for as long as possible, but they say the end is coming in just days. They're trying to even find another company to adopt Moxie, but they just say the outcome does not look good. So they say we can't overstate our regret that circumstances have come to this. We have every reason to believe that a critical financing round would be completed, allowing us to continue improving Moxie, scaling operations, ultimately serving even more children in need of emotional support and learning opportunities. Even the people of the Moxie community that have one of these things in their house are giving suggestions as to how to keep the service running. They say we'll even pay higher subscription fees. Others have suggested open sourcing Moxie's underlying tech. Some are suggesting purchasing the company outright. So, yeah, it's a bummer. It's, though, not the only company that is ending support for robots and things that people have integrated into their lives like this. Amazon says it's discontinuing service for Astro, which is a 20-pound wheeled robot. It had only been out for 8 months. It would roam around a person's home and patrol the area with a camera and an integrated Amazon Echo smart display. Now, nothing. They said, Amazon, that they would refund the $2,350 bot and provide a $300 credit. Spotify cut off support for Car Thing, which was a device that people could attach to their car to access the music streaming platform. So that's a goner. So is it a shift away from tech? I don't know. The robots, fitness trackers, exercise equipment, and other hardware considered once products are increasingly services now. And that relationship comes with a chance that the service might not be available even after you buy the product. So it's goodbye, Moxie. Sayonara, and that's it. Let's move to this story. Fascinating, another archaeology kind of story, but it wasn't archaeologists who dug this out. It was a couple fishermen who brought this up from the water in the region of Georgia. They say they picked up an unexpected catch when they hauled in this stone tablet with an ancient inscription in a language that's never been seen before. We've never seen anything like this. They aren't sure, researchers, when this text was engraved or who engraved it, but they think that it dates back to the late Bronze Age or early Iron Age. So the anglers were out at Bass Plemy Lake in the autumn of 2021 when they hauled up this basalt tablet and they scraped off the grime and the goo on its surface using an iron nail. Unfortunately, apparently, the scratches made during that cleanup did no damage to the original script. But they later compared it, researchers, to dozens of other ancient languages, trying to identify who wrote it, where it belongs, where it came from, these things. And they say, the authors of this new study about this artifact, the blasphemy inscription does not repeat any script known to us. Most of the symbols used resemble some found in the scripts of the Middle East, as well as those of a geographically remote country or countries like India, Egypt, West Iberia. They identified 39 unique symbols on this tablet, which is about the size of a book. Several of them are repeated, so there's 60 characters in all. But 39 are numbers and punctuation marks. And they think maybe this was an alphabet. It's arranged into 7 lines or registers, and the text flows horizontally, but it's unclear if it's intended to be read from left to right, right to left. They're not sure. They cross-referenced it against 20 other ancient written languages, and they don't know. They say this is the most perplexing artifact. They have no idea what's going on. But they think that it has the strongest resemblance to something called the Proto-Kartvelian script that they found was from the 4th millennium BCE in Georgia and Iberia, which would make sense given where it was found, right? They analyzed these characters under a microscope. They found that they were made using a conic drill to outline the contours of each letter. And then the notches were joined up using like a smooth, round-headed style tool. But they say it's impossible to date this mysterious item. The presence of other Bronze and Iron Age artifacts in the area suggests that it probably is several thousands of years old. This study, by the way, is published in the Journal of Ancient History and Archaeology. It may represent military spoils. So maybe it's an offering to a deity. They don't exactly know. But yeah, we've never seen anything like this before. All right, I'm going to the chat to see what you guys are talking about. Oh, Viewfinder says Moxie can store 4 profiles for use with siblings. It could. It can't anymore. That's it. Karen says, I frequently find I'm frustrated with tech. Okayest Mama Ever says, having a robot babysit your child just rubs me the wrong way. Karen says, how about a parent giving kids affirmation and knowledge? Parents are too busy? What is that's going on now? Come on. John Watson says, we're going to have to pull the plug on Moxie. That's about the size of it. Moxie's a goner. No way to get parts. Maybe salvage an older R2-D2 unit. Yeah, it's a sad situation. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of talk about Moxie. All right, let's move to this next story. about this new crustacean. Yeah. Let me take the comment down. This is a crustacean that it's apparently a predator crustacean. Kind of oogie looking. And the reason it's all white is because, yeah, it was found in one of these deep, deep, dark ocean areas, 25,000 feet under the surface of the Pacific Ocean. It's called Dulcibella camanchaca. Dulcibella camanchaca. It can survive the frosty darkness of the ocean's Hadal zone. And the Hadal zone is named after Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. It's about 3.7 to 6.8 miles under the surface of the ocean. It only occurs in the ocean's trenches, and all of the planet's Hadal zones together are about the size of Australia. The Hadal zone is completely dark. Except for the bioluminescence that some animals use to communicate. The temperatures there just above freezing. The depths come with intense amount of pressure. Every species found there can add more crucial knowledge, researchers say, to how life on Earth has evolved and how some can even thrive in such extreme environments. Enter this one. This crustacean is pretty good at living in extremes. It's got raptor-like pinchers and tusk-like front appendages. A team of international scientists found this first large active predatory amphipod deep in one of the Earth's most inhospitable environments. They published a study about this Dulcibella camanchaca in the journal Systematics and Biodiversity. It's a new species, well, new to us anyway, kind of a shrimp-like crustacean, an amphipod, and members of this species can be found in both freshwater and saltwater environments. It was discovered by Atacama Trench off the coast of South America by scientists from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution in Massachusetts, and also the Instituto Milenio de Oceanografía at the University de Concepción in Chile. They say Dulcibella camanchaca is a fast-swimming predator named after darkness in the language of the peoples from the Andes region to signify the deep, dark ocean from where it predates. It's about 1.5 inches long. It's got these specialized front legs to capture prey. It eats the smaller amphipod species found in the Atacama Trench off the coast of Peru and Chile. The trench stretches along the eastern South Pacific Ocean off the coast of northern Chile, and it can reach depths of more than 26,000 feet. Despite being cold, deep, and dark, it's located beneath some nutrient-rich surface waters, which allows life to flourish in this area. They say, most excitingly, the DNA and the morphology data pointed to this species being a new genus as well. So, there it is, in all its white, kind of strange-looking alien species glory. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't want to run into it, that's for sure. With the end is which, says Tammy. I think I I think the tusk-like things, I think the end on the right side of the screen, not the tail-looking fingers hanging lower like a tail, but I think this is the front end toward the right. Please, people, smash that like button. I always forget to say it. Thank you. Please, some show business. Please smash the like button. Please click subscribe if you haven't already. And the show PayPal information, should you be so inclined, is in the show description and also in the About tab of the After Party Live on YouTube. Gordon says they need a video of this thing hunting. Yeah. Isn't that the guy that popped out of the stomach in the movie, you know, the one that starts with an A? That's what I thought. It looks like an alien creature. Is that not creepy? Yeah. All right. Well, enough of this. And I don't want you to have to look at this guy any longer, lest you have nightmares. So let's go to the lotto of the day. And this one comes out of Iowa. Here he is, David. He won $500,000 on his way to a party. He made a stop on the way to a friend's birthday party. He's from Cedar Rapids. He told Iowa lottery officials that he and his wife were on their way to a birthday party when he bought a megabucks scratch-off ticket from the Hy-Vee drugstore on Johnson Avenue in Cedar Rapids. He scratched off the ticket while his wife was driving. He said, "I was sitting in the passenger seat and I was scratching away, and all of a sudden I went, 'Oh my.'" She looks and goes, "That's not real." And he said, "No, it's real." The ticket was a $500,000 top prize winner. He joked the ticket made him more popular at the party than the friend who was being celebrated. "It was old Pop here," he joked. "I hit the 500,000 and all my buddies they were all my buddies after all of a sudden." He says he plans to use his winnings to buy a new car and travel with his wife. He said, "We'll see if I want to travel a little farther now." There he goes, $500,000. Just stopping at the Hy-Vee, no big deal. We talked a little bit about this story on the Mark Thompson show today, and it's about these SUV-sized drones that are flying over some states and becoming quite a security risk as well. These these things have been spotted mysteriously. One instance, they might have blocked a medical helicopter. They've been seen across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. There've been multiple reports from residents of these states about these fixed-wing devices, about 4 feet wide. Others think they're as large as a car. The governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, says there's no evidence that they suggest a threat to public safety, although at least one incident may have delayed a medevac transport of a seriously injured car wreck victim. But they've been seen through the month of November and December over residential areas, highways, railroads, reservoirs, power lines. In most instances, these loud blinking drones appear to be significantly larger than the standard drones piloted by hobbyists. At least 2 events prompted the FAA to temporarily ban drones at Donald Trump's Bedminster National Golf Club. And the Picatinny Arsenal, which is a 6,400 square acre military research and manufacturing facility in Morris County, New Jersey. The folks over in the Staten Island borough are requesting the FAA and FBI investigate similar sightings reported last week by locals. Somebody spotted one of these drones above Staten Island's Howland Hook Marine Terminal Container Port Facility and the West Shore. And the thinking is that it's odd and it's bizarre that no one can figure out who is flying these drones, where they're coming from, and what their purpose is. So I think this is super creepy. There was a press conference in New Jersey where the police confirmed between 4 and 8 of these zones were flying around on December 5th. They call these not the normal drones that someone would purchase and use. One said the police, I think the chief of police of Evesham, New Jersey, his name is Walt Miller. He says that he's likening them to as large as an SUV and capable of flying in wind conditions that smaller vehicles just couldn't otherwise handle. He said at times these drones hovered in place. And if they did so, they don't know if they did so over critical infrastructure sites or not. But people are posting pictures of these things on social media. When you see something of this capacity and you wonder why it would be needed and what they're doing, I don't know. There's a 4-star general, Barry McCaffrey, talking to NBC News, says it implies a heavy payload. Uncrewed aerial vehicles. He called it a significant threat to U.S. national security. Michael Menstrinardi, who's the sheriff of Ocean County, New Jersey, said what concerns us the most is that at this point, no one has seen any of these units taking off or landing. So at this point, they say, we really just want to identify what exactly this thing is. And I have some video from someone that saw it in the sky that I'll share with you. I think they have to figure this out ASAP, what this thing could possibly be. So here is what these aerial drones look like. Hold on. Okay, here's what it looks like. Let me play this for you.
Mystery that's been described as unnerving is growing. The FBI now investigating multiple reports of unidentified drones flying over New Jersey, some as
Yeah, I'll ditch the audio there because we already talked about the story. But that's what they look like. A flying SUV in the sky. You'd think they would be able to track these things. Apparently not. Here's some more video that people have taken. Again, multiple reports. Look at all this, all over the place. So, yeah, that's what they look like. And we got to figure out what's happening with that. Super creepy. Let's see what you guys have to say. UFO, says Gordon. I don't think so. Very odd, says Tammy. Yeah. Mo says, not sure about the title. Oh, you're talking about something different. Okay, I'm sorry. What's that? It's a high drone. Yeah. We were talking about this earlier, right? That there was an arrest today of someone that was trying to board a plane at SFO headed to China who had flown this plane over Vandenberg Space Force Base. What were they looking for? What was on that drone? So, yeah, these drones. John says, what's our highly paid military doing? Are they doing anything about it? I think they are. I think we haven't heard exactly what they're doing about it. I think they're still investigating. Hopefully they know more than we think they know. But speaking of things that fly around in the sky, let's talk about using biomimicry to increase the efficiency of airplanes. The thinking is that feather-inspired wing flaps could prevent planes from stalling. The more flaps you add to the front of the wing, the higher the performance benefit. There's a study, results of a study published October 28th in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. And this thinking is that birds have been equipped with more flaps in the form of covert feather groupings that passively adjust to the airflow. So some engineers think planes can be built to be safer and more energy efficient. Again, there's research in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. These researchers are from Princeton University. They recently upgraded a small remote-controlled model airplane to include rows of flaps that mimic covert feathers. The feathers on birds that adjust kind of automatically, instinctually, to navigate in wind gusts and in landing. And they think using this style of biomimicry based designs could help aircraft improve overall performance and could potentially avoid stalling emergencies. They think these covert feathers can enhance flight during, again, wind gusts, landing or taking off during wind gusts. There's no existing consensus on their underlying physics or the implications of having multiple rows. So what they did was they checked it out and they installed 2 to 5 rows of covert style flaps on this 3D printed scale model plane wing. And then they subjected their prototypes to wind tunnel tests in this 30-foot tall installation. Inside the tunnel, there were a combination of sensors as well as both laser and high-speed cameras, and it measured the airflow around the wings during simulations. They also used a wing model built with standard single-row flaps to serve as a control. And they said the wind tunnel experiments gave them precise measurements for how the air interacts with the wing and the flaps, and that they could see exactly what's happening in terms of physics. So, after looking at the data, the researchers pinpointed specific ways that these flaps control airflow around a wing. One of them, shear layer interaction, had never before been documented in aeronautical testing, which seems crazy to me that we wouldn't be trying to better, the ways that we fly, ways that we travel. The discovery of this new mechanism, they say, unlocked a secret behind why birds have these feathers near the front of the wings and how we could use these flaps for aircraft. The more flaps you add to the front of the wing, the higher performance benefit. That, according to Amy Wissa, who's a mechanical aerospace engineering assistant professor and the principal investigator of this research study. They then transitioned to outdoor flight tests, and they used a bird-sized drone plane on loan from the Princeton RC Model Aircraft Club, and they installed covert flap rows, and they programmed an onboard flight computer to stall out on purpose. And then they launched the model and they watched it navigate its aerial challenges. And each time the computer initiated a stall, the plane's covert flap rows passively deployed to mitigate the intensity of that stall. Wissa said that's the power of bio-inspired design, the ability to transfer things from biology to engineering to improve our mechanical systems, but also using our engineering tools to answer questions about biology. So they think that these feather flaps could apply to more things than just airplanes because of airflow fluid dynamics. They say there's potential to improve the efficiency and the safety of cars, submersibles, maybe even wind turbines as well. Why these studies haven't been done before is crazy. I'm glad we know. Hey, they found something. They found America's oldest gun. Because, we always want to know about this. Here it is being uncovered. They dug it out of the dirt. And here's what it looks like. America's oldest gun. It was unearthed in Arizona. It's a 40-pound Conquistador wall gun. They needed, back in the day, 2 people to operate this weapon. Kind of a gun, kind of a cannon, a bronze cannon. It's the oldest known firearm ever found in the continental United States. It was likely owned by one of history's most famous and notorious conquistadors, although he may never have fired it in battle. In 1539, Vázquez de Coronado mortgaged his wife's belongings, this according to Popular Science, and took out massive loans to finance an expedition to North America. This Spanish conquistador, de Coronado, and 350 soldiers intended to locate the legendary 7 cities of gold somewhere north of Mexico. Instead, he and his men spent the next 3 years plundering, enslaving, and murdering their way across the region, as conquistadors do. He ended his expedition in Mexico City, and when he did, he was bankrupt and facing war crimes charges. But according to Popular Science, his influence on North America lingered for generations because they didn't pack up all their belongings when they went away. According to authors of a study published November 21st in the International Journal of Historical Archaeology, there's a site that has given us numerous artifacts linked to explorers. In the ruins of a stone and adobe structure in Arizona's Santa Cruz Valley, researchers found olive jars, glass shards, European pottery, and weapons components, and that includes this 42-inch long bronze cannon. And there it is. I mean, I guess we celebrate guns here in the United States, right? So, it's also called a wall gun. The firearm required 2 operators. It was generally used as a defensive weapon, mounted on a wooden tripod on fortification walls. Such a cannon in De Coronado's case would have been used for offensive purposes, usually to blast through the thinner walls of structures in indigenous settlements. They radiocarbon dated it, and they have dated this cannon to Coronado's time. Other artifacts matched accounts of his expedition's materials and belongings, so that's why they think it's from him. Unlike more ornate Spanish cannons, this wall gun's plain casting indicates it might have actually been constructed in Mexico or perhaps the Caribbean. And maybe, they say, it was purchased from Ponce de Leon's preceding expedition. They don't know. But according to researchers, historical records show the settlement where they recovered this wall gun was at one point attacked by locals, forcing Spanish explorers to retreat. They also found lead shot and arrowheads at this archaeological site, and that corroborates the accounts, although they say it's unknown why this cannon was apparently never used. But now we have it. The oldest firearm in America. Are we celebrating? Woohoo! It's interesting. I can talk about this. Oh, you know what? I want to tell you about this ancient board game because look how cool that is. But I have no time. So let's go to Waterfall Wednesday because I have a few waterfalls that I want to show you today. And it's, I think, a nice cool down and relaxing. So it is time for Waterfall Wednesday. Our first waterfall takes us here to Sutherland Falls in New Zealand. It's got a drop of over 1,900 feet. Sutherland Falls is one of the highest in the world. The water on this waterfall comes from Lake Quill. You can see that in the background. It is a remote and beautiful Fiordland National Park on South Island in New Zealand. It's located near the iconic Milford Sound. Sutherland Falls was named for Donald Sutherland, not the actor, the Scottish settler who first discovered it in 1880. How beautiful is that? That's Sutherland Falls in New Zealand. Shall we head now to Scotland? And this is on the Isle of Skye, Mealt Falls. Is anyone watching the latest season of Outlander, by the way? This is located near the magnificent Kilt Rock on the Isle of Skye. The rock said to look like a pleated kilt, and I could see that. Yeah, I think we've taken a look at that during Hide in Your Cave Monday. But this is a stunning Mealt waterfall. It is fed by the nearby Mealt Loch. This waterfall, more than 180 feet high. On windy days, the water doesn't even touch the ground. The bottom lies at the bottom of this is the way into the Sound of Raasay, which connects to the Atlantic Ocean. This is so pretty, unless you were standing on that cliff's edge. And then it's a long way down. No. Here's another waterfall. This one is in Durham, England. It's called the High Force Waterfall. It looks pretty forceful, I'll say that much. It's a fast-flowing, high-force waterfall in County Durham, England. They call it one of the most spectacular, beautiful places in the UK, where the River Tees drops 71 feet over a precipice called Windsill, creating twin falls, surrounded by a diverse range of flora and fauna. In the winter, the falls sometimes freeze over, creating stunning ice formations. The word force comes from the Norse for the waterfall, which you can also see in the names of waterfalls in Norway and Iceland, such as Gullfoss and Langfoss. Foss, right? So here it is, High Force in Durham, England. That's a lot of water. I didn't get pictures of it frozen. Maybe I'll do that next time and show you some of the ways it freezes. Okay, last one, and here it is. We're going to Japan. This is called Nachi Falls. Look at that backdrop. Nachi Falls is in the Wakayama Prefecture in Japan. One of the most famous waterfalls in Japan, over 430 feet it falls, one of the tallest permanent waterfalls in the country, because some of the waterfalls there are seasonal. This one never goes away. At the top lies the famous Shinto Shrine, the 3-story pagoda, which displays many fascinating historical artifacts found at the base of this waterfall. Also near the falls is the Saigonto Buddhist temple. They say, as far as the best time to visit this one, any time of day is fine as long as the weather's good with sunshine. But if you go in the spring, the scenery will be even better because there's cherry blossoms all over this place. So it just makes it that much more incredible. But there it is. And again, that's the Nachi Falls, Nachi, Nachi Falls in Wakayama Prefecture, Japan. So beautiful. So we have Nachi Falls and we have High Force in England. We have the Mealt Falls in Scotland. And then we had the Sutherland Falls in New Zealand. And that is Waterfall Wednesday. Yes, it is. All right, I wanted to do this story, and I think we have time for it. So I'll jump back over to this ancient board game. And the thinking is now they think they actually know how to play this thing. Because for a while, they said it didn't come with any rules and they couldn't quite figure it out. They said after losing the rules for 4,000 years, we might actually know how to play this thing. It was found, they think it's a complete game. And it was found in a catacomb grave. Didn't have any instructions. But the thinking is that they might now understand how to play it. So in 1977, Italian and Iranian archaeologists were excavating the cemetery site in a region of Iran when they discovered this item. Came from grave number 731. Inside this catacomb grave was this ancient board game. I don't even know how they knew it was a board game. Radiocarbon dating puts it at from 2600 to 2400 BCE. It was not buried with any rules, so thousands of years later, there's a board game with no idea of how to play it, but they do have some clues. Can you imagine when someone was buried with this? Like this was their favorite thing to do ever, so someone buried them with what they love? And I love that we know about it and have it, but I also feel kind of bad that it was taken from someone's grave. They, however, researchers have a few clues as to how the rules of this game went. There's another board game that was found. They call it the Royal Game of Ur. It was played in Mesopotamia at a similar time as this game would have been from. And for that game, they did have rules written down on a tablet. Deciphering the tablet allowed the British Museum curator to pin down a good understanding of the rules, making it playable once again, thousands of years after it was invented. That's the Royal Game of Ur. Still open to interpretation on what exactly the rules were. But it looks like this is a racing strategy game played with dice. So the team investigating this Shar-e-Sokta game tried to propose rules for it based on what they know of other ancient board games, including that game, the Royal Game of Ur, and historical evidence as well. So in doing so, they are suggesting that this board game is similar to the Royal Game of Ur, but a little bit more strategic perhaps, because of the variety of pieces and blockers as well. They think the blocker pieces can't attack the opponent's blockers as the core of the gameplay is racing, and the rules must focus on the racing aspect. The blocker pieces, they think, should be able to move more strategically. So this is the new interpretation of this rule. A possible option in ancient rules is to move runner pieces and blocker pieces with the rolling of a dice. But the blocker pieces can move with special numbers when rolled, and players decide on whether to move them. So I just think it's artful and beautiful. I don't know how we play it. There's a lot of old board games that are kind of interesting. This board game, they say, was put to the test on 50 experienced players who were asked to evaluate the gameplay and compare it to the royal game of Ur. The study is accepted for publication into the Journal of the British Institute of Persian Studies and is posted as a preprint, they say, to SOC Archive, if you're looking for it, if you're a board game history aficionado. Well, that is the After Party Live for the day. Thank you for being here. I'm going back to the chat, see what you guys are talking about in here. Oh, we're talking about sweets. I'm down for sweets. Yeah. The instructions on this game, says Mo. It's written on the tablet you were talking about earlier in the show. Yes, it's likely. They just need to put them together, right? Yeah, I think so. I don't know. They totally made up the rules, says Sea Dog. Yeah, you're probably right. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just winging it like the rest of us, right? Something. That is the After Party Live. Thank you for being here. I will meet you tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show featuring Michael Schur and David Katz. Then here for Trivia Thursday, and then the Nikki Maduro Show tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific. Cocktails, mocktails, and politics. And I look forward to spending time with you there as well. Don't forget Trivia Thursday here on the After Party Live. Again, please click the subscribe button. Please click the like button. And thank you for the contributions via PayPal and here on the After Party Live on YouTube as well. All right, everybody, make it a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you. Aw, thank you, Lori. I appreciate that.